Today we are producing more than 3 million pages, including more than 2,000 videos and 180,000 images.
As the pages keep coming, so too do the shocking revelations, putting the world's most powerful and influential people under scrutiny for their dealings with the late convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Among the most politically sensitive material from the latest release, under pressure from Congress, photographs and records involving the UK's former Duke of York, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, his former wife and a former cabinet minister. Correspondence with unexpected contacts, such as Norway's Crown Princess and Slovakia's National Security Advisor. He has since resigned. Ties to major business figures, including tech entrepreneur Elon Musk, billionaire Richard Branson, and Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates. And a name that appears thousands of times, Donald Trump. The US president is threatening legal action against Epstein's estate and Michael Wolff, the author who interviewed Epstein in 2017 and made claims about his ties with Trump, allegations he denies.
Well, you may, I guess so, because he was conspiring with Wolff to do harm to me politically.
But the surprises aren't limited to personal connections. The release also highlights Epstein's global political reach, included reported attempts to recover billions in frozen Libyan assets. These revelations underline the global scope of his network and how deeply it intersected with elites worldwide. They've prompted calls for those involved to step down from office and for the former British prince to testify before a US congressional committee. Survivors' advocates have been sharply critical, arguing the disclosures lack transparency, restrict exposure, and fail to protect victims' identities. But those concerns are being overshadowed by mounting pressure for a complete release.
The DOJ numbers keep changing. They say they collected 6 million pages, but they're only releasing 3. What happened to the other 3 million? What's in them? And finally, has every document that mentions the word Trump been released? Yes or no? We need answers.
As questions mount and speculation grows, for many the latest dump of documents is a stark reminder that justice depends not on what is released, but on what remains sealed. Cara Legg, Al Jazeera.
And our leaders are low-life scum that screw little girls so the Jews can screw America. That's what's happening in this country. I just said it. That's what's going on in this country. And our FBI is corrupt, the Supreme Court is corrupt, the Justice Department is corrupt, the news media is corrupt, the whole country is corrupt. Because we've walked away from Almighty God and we've allowed Kabbalah-practicing Jews to defile the nation. Put that video out. Go ahead and clip this video and send it out. I dare you. You won't do it because you're scared that the truth may get out to the American people. I'm had it up to here with the corruption in this country.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 4. Whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children, and devourers of man's flesh, and the feast of blood. Kahala Yahweh Bashem Yashai Bashem Rupakodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, with the house of David reborn again in this generation. And shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about Edom being made bare by the Lord. And by that, I'm talking about the release of half of the Epstein files. And that's right, I said half. Because as you've seen that Amalekite Chuck Schumer say in that Senate speech that they announced that they had 6 million documents, but the release of the documents only was about 3 million, showing that these devils haven't fully come out. And by the way, those files that did come out, they've been heavily redacted. Images have been completely blacked out, right? Names have been, redacted. And that's because why? Well, because you see, Esau is doing damage control. Okay, and when I say Esau or Edom or the Edomites, I'm talking about the true biblical identity of the so-called Israeli and Caucasian race, because those two races of people go back to the biblical Edomites that descend from Esau, which you could read about in Genesis 25 and 25. He was the evil twin brother of Jacob. Jacob, who was selected by God, had his name changed to Israel, and also who is the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel, or who you would refer to today as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and all those whose father's lineage goes back to that bloodline. Now, that being said, this scripture here is actually talking about how the Lord cleared out the land of Israel of the Canaanites, right? The Hamitic descendants who originally dwelt in the land of Israel, right? It was called the land of Canaan before the Lord brought in Joshua and basically the early Israelites, our forefathers, and had them destroy them and kick them out of the land. And why? Well, because they were into the most odious works of witchcraft and sacrifices. Okay? And what were they doing in that land? Well, they were performing those satanic rituals that we have been hearing about till this day, right? That requires sacrificial rites to be done to pay worship to their spiritual powers. Okay, that being the left-hand angels, or you would refer to them as demons. Some of the people within the conspiracy theories groups refer to these as the reptilians, right? But pretty much it's the demons that Esau, these Edomites, deal with. Okay, they require sacrifice. Okay, and this is the same thing in every society that ultimately falls to the left hand, right? The left-hand angels convince the people in power that, they'll give them the power they want, right? And ultimately all they ask for is for this payment, right? The payment of sacrifice, right? Or the most odious works of witchcraft, which are the things that we've seen these Edomites doing to this day. And again, what has been revealed in these Epstein files is we've already been telling you this for years now, starting with the apostles on down, right? They've been telling you that this is what these Edomites are into, that they're straight up witches performing witch acts. Okay, now yes, a lot of them get off on this. This is their kink, but a lot of them, like the people at the very top, they do this because this is simply a part of the ritual that requires that these things be done. Okay, people like Hillary Clinton, Marina Abramovich, Epstein, all these people, these devils are straight up witches, okay? And they'll, sacrifice a child because they'll want to get that what they refer to as loosh, right? Or basically that spiritual credit, so they can perform the rituals that they want and then get the benefits that they're after. Okay? And this isn't just some recent revelatory issue that's come out. In fact, this is a very common thing amongst these Edomites empire. Okay, this is right here tells you, says State Department reports the U.S. #1 in sex trafficking. 60% of American child sex slaves come out of foster care. Okay, and this was reported back in 2019, right? And you go all the way back to the 80s. You had the Franklin scandal where they got caught sneaking in little boys into like the Senate or into Washington D.C., where these kids were being molested by top politicians, and they buried that story, right? And this again, these are all the details that the Lord is now bringing out to show the world just how wicked and abominable these Edomites are. Because again, it's not the Chinese, it's not the Russians, right? It's not the Arabs, the Muslim terrorists that Esau loves to point at. No, it's them. It's these devils who are about it, right? And as the last video I showed you, Pastor Rick Wills said, he basically summed up the whole point of what is going on, that these Edomites are basically selling out the American people so that way they could bang little girls and basically get blackmailed by their brethren Amalek, so that way America can basically bomb the enemies of Amalek. Okay, that is the state of America right now. It is an abominable country, right? It is the it is the bad guys of the movie. Okay, that whole facade that America and its allies are the good guys has now fallen off, and people have realized this by looking into history, or should I say the unredacted history, and seeing what the Germans were about in World War II, what these Amalekites, these Israelis, what they're about and what they're doing, right? The things that they believe in, right? They're starting to see what their politicians are really all about, all the corruption that they're behind, right? People are waking up to what's going on. And why is that? Well, because this is a divine revelation. This is Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. These devils have lost, and they haven't even realized it yet. They're done for. This is what we are witnessing is the downfall, not of America, not of the EU, the NATO forces, right? Which again are all crumbling, right? No, we are witnessing the downfall of the Edomite Empire. And when again I say the Edomite Empire, I'm talking about the multiple national empires around the world which these Israeli and Caucasians are in charge of, that they set up or took over, and they're now in control of. These nations, regardless if they understand it or not, they're coming to an end, and they are slowly starting to crumble before these Edomites. Yes, America is still here, people are still paying taxes, but the whole spirit of America is done for. You could feel it. Okay, people are waking up, they're not believing what the rulers are saying. The whole spirit and mirth of America is gone for. This is why the last holiday, Christmas, was a bomb for retail sales. You have movies and music and sports events that are just not having anywhere near the same amount of attendance as they did before. And why is that? Well, because people are over this spell that was put upon the people, and the people are waking up to the reality of their lives, of the world that they live in, and how they are being ruled by these wicked ass people, which the whole world hasn't realized it yet, but they're going to eventually realize that these people are the prophesied Antichrist to rule in the end times and be in power of the world when the Messiah returns. Okay, and that will soon become very apparent once this truth continues to permeate throughout the world. Which again, this is the reason why all this truth is starting to come out right now. That's because starting with the apostles, and all the way really starting all the way back to the time in the 50s when High Priest Abba Bivens started to preach this truth, right? The truth of the true Israelites coming back into power. Okay, this is what is causing this world to shift and to basically become disjointed from its current path, right? The current rulers of the world, these Edomites, they are being taken out of power by the Lord, right? And he is not, right? There's no future for these Edomites, and when the Lord returns, they're going to basically not only be taken out of power, but they're going to go. But those that survive are going to go into captivity for 1,000 years, and after 1,000 years, them and all the Edomites that they bring back through reincarnation, through birth, are ultimately going to go extinct. This is Nahum 3:5. Behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh Bashem El Shai of hosts. I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. There's no coincidence that all these Epstein releases are showing things like Bill Gates getting STDs from a Russian hooker and then trying to be slick and get antibiotics to slip to his wife, right? There's no coincidence that the Lord is revealing that Donald Trump was getting a BJ by an underage girl and ultimately had to slap her because she laughed at him, right? All these things that are abominable, that are shameful, are being put there on the table for the entire world to see. Because why? Well, because of this. Because the Lord is against these Edomites, and he is showing the nations who they really are, right? The Lord rose these Edomites up, okay, so that way they could be the hammer of the world. They could be the Lord's whipping stick. And he allowed them to reach the heights that they've managed to reach. But now the Lord is done with them. Why? Well, because he is about to come back, and he is about to regain, or should I say he's about to take control of the world, and the Israelites are going to regain control over the world. Okay? And in doing so, he has to now bring down those powers that he had set up before, that being these Edomites. Okay, this is that little season that Satan has been loosed, and that little season is just about to wrap up. Okay? And again, it doesn't matter if these devils, because they've been trying hard to keep this information wrapped up, right? As you just heard, Chuck Schumer says that they've only released half of the 6 million files, right? And like I said, out of those 3 million files that they did release, they're heavily redacted. So Esau is here trying to do damage control, trying to make this go away, trying to sacrifice a few of the elites, the Bill Gates, the Trumps, and all these people. You even got Trump here trying to gaslight the public by saying he's not found in the Epstein files, even though he's mentioned over 5,000 times. Okay, and there's things that are literally been released, talking about him. Things like this, right? This is an email from Jeffrey Epstein to Larry Summers. Remember, Larry Summers is that rich Amalekite Edomite devil that owns Oracle, and his son went up and bought up all these movie companies, and they recently bought up TikTok. Well, what does Jeffrey Epstein have to say about Donald Trump to Larry Summers? He says, recall, I've told you, I have met some very bad people, none as bad as Trump, not one decent cell in his body. So yes, dangerous, importance high. Okay, so these devils, they're coming out and they're spilling the beans. Well, should I say these beans have been spilled, maybe not on their behalf, but these devils are in power, the ones who have decided to release this to the public, so that way the public has something. Because for the last couple of months, there's been so many distraction events going on. But what do people keep doing? The Lord had put the Spirit on the people to continue to ask for the Epstein files to be released. Okay, and Lord willing, they'll keep pushing for the other 3 million documents, and that way this Edomite kingdom will crumble even faster. But again, this has been an open secret. Okay, not only do you have people like this, Christopher Walken, who I feel he's a Jake, right? When you look at his history and his family lineage, right? But look, this is what he said years ago. He said, child molesting Satanists rule the world, right? You had Mel Gibson, right, out there talking about that every Hollywood studio is paid with the blood of sacrificial children. Okay, these devils have been revealed, and like I said again, it's been an open secret, and all those people who were involved in Hollywood have, not all of them, but the large majority of them, the ones that have been ostracized, kicked out, they have attempted to come out and reveal what's going on, right? Hence why the whole P. Diddy thing. You had, what was it? You had Justin Bieber. That was part of the P. Diddy thing. You had the Britney Spears, going crazy, right? Kanye West, right? All these type of things that we seen happening, but nobody really understood what was going on. Well, it was all part of Edom's witchcraft that was being put upon these celebrities, right? And these celebrities, this is the Faustian bargain that they make with the devil to get that fame, get that popularity, right? They sell their soul, and this is what is part of that. This is Isaiah 29:16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say to him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? And this is what's going on. You see, these Edomite devils, now that they have the reins of the world, they have now turned everything upside down. As you see here, it was prophesied that they would, right? That there would come in the end times a wicked empire, a wicked group of people, right? This is the mystery that the reader of the Bible is supposed to figure out is who is the Antichrist? Who is the wicked group of people? Who are they? Well, we're telling you now, and we've been telling you for the last couple of decades, that those evil people is the group of people that the Bible refers to as the biblical Edomites, okay? The descendants of Esau. These are the children of Satan. These are the ones who are currently in rulership now. Because why? Well, because it was given unto them by the Lord to fulfill the blessing of Isaac, Esau's father, that he would live off the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven, right? This is what is given to them, because this is their heaven now before they get taken out. And again, they are about to be taken out of power. So again, we're going to be seeing a lot more crazy things, Akim. This is the beginning of the end for these Edomites. And just like when you're taking a goat to be slaughtered versus a lamb, the goat is going to scream, kick, holler, make all this crazy noise, try to get out of it, right? And that's what's happening to these Edomites. They're kicking and screaming. They're making a bunch of fuss because they understand that they're being taken out of power. And so much so that you have the top Edomites, these Amalekites, the so-called Israelis, basically throwing their brethren under the bus. Okay, they're doing it because, one, they're trying to save themselves from being revealed, but that ain't going to help because they're also going to be taken out of power, right? So the whole world, like it tells us in the Bible, is going to turn on these people. What is it? Job 20:27, I think. I think that the earth, that the heavens shall reveal his iniquity and the earth shall rise up against them. So these devils, they're coming to their end, and there's just going to be more and more crazier things being revealed. And again, this Epstein stuff, don't believe that this is the only scheme that Esau had to get the rulers of the world in line. No, this is simply one of many blackmailing schemes and controlling mechanisms that Esau has in power to control the peoples. Other things are like drugs, gangs, psychology, the university system. All these things that are starting to crumble around us are being revealed as systems of control and basically the system that Esau uses to manage the world. So either way, the world is crumbling and we're here for it. So I just wanted to reveal this, man, and show you how this ultimately is all the work of the Lord, revealing these devils for the wickedness that they've done. So hopefully this video was edifying. Until the next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.